Welcome to the second episode of the Brothers and Sisters podcast. It is today is January 14th, 2021. It is Thursday. We're recording from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm here with Lindsay Wilson, Autumn Woodland, and Sean Woodland. Hopefully Corey Lewis will be calling in later. I believe Walter Sellers may be calling in later also. I know Walter has a client. And unfortunately, Nicole lost her phone. Oh, that is tough.
Collective sigh.
That phone replacement. I don't even want to bring it up because I didn't even want to talk about it. That's terrible. So she's going to be missing this week, but we still have a good show. Lindsay's going to lead off talking about really continuing that health and wellness theme last week. Walter and health and wealth, I guess. Walter opened up with that, and I think we all, Autumn kind of sort of led, but we all kind of saw the weakness in the argument, which was fairly strong, but food deserts. You know, it was something that was kind of sort of, what if you want to eat healthy, that, you know, there's no place around, and that's something that plagues, obviously, black and brown communities. So Lindsay actually did a little bit of work, a little bit of research, a little bit of investigation into actually that problem that Autumn identified. I kind of sort of go through the rest. So that'll be our first segment. Then we're going to move to the Capitol. Randy Dawson was great last week talking about Georgia and the work it took to organize and get it for the Biden column in the general, and then really make it happen in the special election where we got two Democratic senators in Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. Autumn particularly is going to focus on, when we talk about the Capitol, the First Amendment issues, really with the response from the tech companies who have pretty much deplatformed President Trump. And I'm going to go more into the Section 230 part of the U.S. Code, which is obviously up for debate now. And then our last section, we're going to have Sean close it out with a medley of movies, pop culture, social media, kind of sort of a potpourri buffet thing. And hopefully Corey will call in. Brooklyn Nets superfan Corey Lewis will call in, and we'll be able to talk about James Harden and Kyrie Irving a little bit in that segment also. But Lindsay, you want to get it started because that was a really good conversation we had last week, and I think you got some really good stuff, kind of sort of filling in that hole that we discovered in Walter's argument.
Sure. So last week, as we discussed the correlation between health and wealth, we stumbled upon the topic of food deserts, which has long been considered a structural disadvantage for access to healthy food options. While different groups have tried to combat this with food banks and grocery store tax incentives, distance can still pose itself as a problem. But as technology progresses, we have to ask, why is this still an issue for two reasons? The first reason is shipping infrastructure. We've seen that Amazon has built a shipping pipeline that has essentially driven delivery costs to zero. Then, if we look at retailers that outsource shipping, many offer free shipping over a certain dollar amount, as well as tiered shipping rates. The second reason is the pervasive nature of the internet. I don't think there's any argument that the internet is essentially ubiquitous in our society. A 2018 Pew Research study showed that 89% of U.S. adults use the internet, and 77% of U.S. adults use smartphones. So basically, the ability to order fresh food is in the palm of our hands. With the combined effect of reduced shipping costs and the ability to click and ship at our fingertips, this problem should be solved, right? While we aren't there just yet, there are some organizations making an effort. A 2019 article from the Globe Post states, Eat Well in Boston and Food Q in Chicago are revolutionizing the fundamental structure of meal kits. Additionally, they're diversifying their feeding populations. They're doing this by altering factors like subscription costs and delivery methods. These organizations are branching out to better serve individuals in these low access areas. Additionally, companies already in the food delivery game are offering affordable options for low-income families. message from Imperfect Foods, a produce delivery service, states that while we wait for government programs like SNAP to catch up, we're filling the gap ourselves. If you meet income qualifications for SNAP, you are eligible for our reduced cost program. With this program, you can take 30% off of your order every time you order. Financially, we take a loss on these orders, but we do this because it's the right thing to do. So it looks like Imperfect Foods gets it and others are following suit. But once we get there, the question still remains, will people choose healthier options?
Good, thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. I think we all do. So there are a couple of things, like over the course, I guess 2019 is where you left off. Was there anything on the finance side as far as movement towards food delivery outside, of course, Amazon or anything like that you came across in your research? Because you're definitely talking about supply chains, and that's obviously the issue when we're talking about a food desert. So
yeah, you broke up a little bit. I heard anything else besides Amazon? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Anything else besides Amazon as far as the across your studies?
So Amazon is like the only one that's really like built their own like internal infrastructure as far as something like being able to provide so many different types of goods. And then when they acquired Whole Foods, they basically acquired a whole grocery business already. So then they were able to flatten the shipping for grocery and things like that. Other people are outsourcing their shipping to like UPS, USPS, but you still see with like those delivery services, when people outsource, they still have reduced shipping costs if you spend a certain amount, or they have tiered pricing, which still isn't really astronomical in comparison to what you're going to pay for what you're getting.
Very cool. Now I'm wondering, is there anything you come across anything for, like in the Baltimore area where we are, or even generally?
Not as far as delivery services. I know Imperfect Foods is like a national thing and they deliver here. There's also things like that have been long-standing, like Meals on Wheels, but like whether those are healthy or not, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Did you come across anything that relates to, like, I know it's easy to access some of these things if you have a smartphone and access to the internet, but what about people that have issues with even connecting to the internet?
Yeah, so there's always still that gap of people. I think the Pew Research study was done 2 years ago. The one where it says 89% of US adults use the internet. There's, I wouldn't say always going to be a gap, but there's always going to be that gap of people who don't have access. Right now we're in a pandemic, so basically anyone in an urban area can have access to the internet. But you know, there still are people who have smartphones, who have their phones, minutes run out, data runs out, and they have to walk to the library to use the internet. So I mean, I don't know if you can ever completely close that gap.
And then you think some of the same issues.
Unless we offer free internet all the time.
Exactly what I was going to say. Some of those same issues can probably be resolved in delivering internet to I would imagine those 10, 11% of adults who aren't using the internet or don't have access, in rural places where they're having problems delivering broadband internet. Solving those issues, you probably would solve some of these same issues that are in delivery also. But like you said, it is unique because often food deserts, though, and particularly talking about Black people and Black Latino people, historically Hispanic, marginalized people, whatever you want to say, they are in cities. So the internet access isn't really an issue. It definitely seems to be, as I was listening to what you were saying, definitely seems to be, and even your conclusion, and education, it still isn't even really a thing unless there's the education behind. It's like a must that you eat healthy. So even when you have the option to do so, you'll know why you're doing it and will be more inclined to do so.
Even in the Globe Post article, they were talking about time and kitchen restrictions. So a lot of these like meal kit services, even if they were to offer like a discounted rate, you have to think about like what tools people have in their kitchens, people working double shifts, picking up their kids from school, literally having no time, maybe 15 minutes to cook. So even now, like when you go into the grocery store and you might look at people and you're judgmental because the first of the month they have a cart full of like oodles and noodles and Cheetos, but you have to think about like how much time people have.
Yeah. It also makes you think Michelle Obama's on something too, going through the schools and then like hitting the kids like when they were younger, and it's like, yeah, this is healthier stuff to do. That's part of the education component. And then
wasn't she hated for that? Telling
she
kids
was hated for that. She was hated for that.
Taking the Oreos out of the vending machines. How dare you?
Yeah, I nenever understood that. It's one of those things.
I understood it.
Right.
I mean, I understood why.
It very well.
I understood why.
How dare you, uppity?
All sorts of taxes like that are just it's just like, if you like it, you're gonna pay for it anyway. So I mean, what are you complaining about? Like, you can complain to have it lower, but it's probably not going to be, right? If it's popular, that's why they're taxing.
Like Chipotle offering, I'm sorry, aside.
No, go ahead.
Thing. They offer cauliflower rice now. So like I'm trying to cut my carbs or whatever. So I go, it's an extra $2.25.
Yeah.
It's like double meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Expensive. If you order a salad,
I'm gonna get this brown rice.
On the side at certain restaurants, they're gonna charge you more than they would charge for like a whole container of fries.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna mention that shit every time, just like the guacamole. Like, you want cauliflower rice, $2.25.
Those good fats. We're gonna charge you.
Walter just signed in, and Lindsay just wrapped up her presentation on some of the things that are being some of the solutions and some of the things that are being suggested to highlight the weakness in the health and wealth argument that you had, which we liked, but we talked about food deserts last week, if you remember that.
Yep.
So Lindsay did some digging, and it's been pretty good. I'm glad you came in. Do you want to close out with any thoughts or anything like that?
I don't have anything. I was just coming to give feedback as we finished the meeting. I figured it would go over like last week, but
so it doesn't matter. You'll see this week's, and this is not obviously the last time we're covering this issue. We've already had the first 2 episodes, and it's had 2 segments, so it's obviously popular. We don't have anything. We don't have our health and wealth.
I will have some for next week. I rescheduled my other stuff so it won't intervene this next week, so it'll be good.
Man, that's all good. Okay, I'm gonna stop this segment now.